Good morning, my Teaserking family. How's everybody today? I'll be on for like an hour or so, roughly. Just updating my football from last week, the NFL. I always got to wait till Monday night. Hit the under yesterday. I didn't play it, but I thought it was a good play with the cold weather, and if it wins 28-15. I stayed under 49. Uh, Gold and silver 63.39, gold 43.19. So gold's sitting there 43 to 43, goes down to 42.70 a little, went back. I don't understand the shorts because, as they know, they're going to get killed. Silver, I thought COMEX was done and there's a shortage and everybody's buying it. But I think they're buying it right from the mines at $150 an ounce, not at 63. COMEX, again, works on paper derivatives. It doesn't work on me and you buying 10 tons of silver is not going to raise the price. That's why I laugh at these guys who are clueless. But I'm surprised silver is still only 63.50 and not 70 by now, because I don't understand who is shorting this. If we look at a silver chart, right? So what's going on? It's the 10 o'clock short. Well, why is there a 10 o'clock short? That means somebody's going to buy it and take delivery. They don't have any to deliver. Why are they still doing it? This is the part that's confusing to me, is this 10 o'clock drop, even though they have no gold or silver to cover it. So I'm very confused. There, 43.20 gold. Now, gold, we had a nice run of 41, and we climbed through the 42s and we climbed through the 43s, and we know we're going to be at 10,000, and we just scratch our head going, what's going on? Now, we do know, we heard that the silver mines do short it as a position to kind of like we trap in football, right? So we've got a team, -2, and then we take the other team +8, and we hope the game falls between 2 and 8, and we win. We win one and push the other, or we win both. Let's say they win by 7. So we do trap, right, as a way to not lose everything. And that's what the miners do. They do trap. So if they're in silver at 63.52 now, they're shorting it. So in case the price goes down, because they're idiots and they don't understand that it's physical they have, and they're playing a paper game with it. I've never met so many stupid people in my life in this whole COMEX, banking, mine, silver gold mine. The more I hear, the dumber they are. I mean, none of these guys on, your Andy Scheckmans, your Maloney's, none of them know what they're doing. None of them, Lynette saying, just total idiots. The more you listen, the dumber they sound, and they don't understand inflation is money printing. That's the first. If you don't get that, then what are you doing on YouTube? I'm sorry, I don't understand these people. They're just a bunch of morons. They just don't know. And if they had me in running one of these companies, they would not lose a dime, because I would put them in gold and silver. I'd get them out of, paper. I wouldn't buy COMEX. I would play it as the Chinese have, where I'm shorting it to get the price down, but then it's to buy the physical. So I would have done that, but not this. Anyway, Daria's kidneys are bothering her, so I'm sitting there. I watched Dr. Sven, our bald guy from Sweden, and it all comes back to insulin resistance. Careful with your sugars, careful with your carbs, eat your proteins, and drink a lot of water. So the biggest reason the kidneys fail is dehydration. So always make sure you drink water with the ginger and the cinnamon and lemon. Have 3 or 4 glasses a day. Be careful on your coffee and tea. The caffeine's no good. So I don't drink caffeine coffee. I drink decaf coffee. So you got to be careful on the caffeine. And then Also, it's a limited amount of coffee and tea, mostly water. I know we get sick of water. That's why I put the lemon and the cinnamon in. It gives it a taste. Um, anyway, so that's what happens. So kidneys are very easy to heal. Uh, if anything happens to me, I immediately do a 2-day fast and let my body heal it. Your body will heal everything. Just get out of the way. Stop eating sweets. Don't have caffeine, coffee or tea, and it's a good chance your body will heal it. I mean, I'm very healthy considering my age and considering, uh, I used to have diabetes and then I fasted and got rid of it and I watched my sugars. And yeah, occasionally I'll have a Pop Tart or a brownie or a donut or something, but not every day. And and they're little portion. If I have like an ice cream, it's one of those from the store, those little, cones or something. I'm eating one and that's it. I'm not eating a whole tube of ice cream or pumpkin pie. I had it over 4 days for Thanksgiving. And then that's it. I'm not eating a pumpkin pie today or anything. So I'll lay out for the holidays. You can eat, but then that's it. And then you got to be careful. Well, it's over 63.62 since we've been on. It's up 13 cents, and gold back to 43.28. So again, we know Comex. We know it's just paper. We know these prices are paper prices. We know they're going much, much higher. We're not worried about it. We just have to see what's going on with it. But anyway, that's the goal. We know all these industries are panicking, buying a lot of physical silver because they're worried that it's going to run out. And as I've been saying for 5 years, you better buy it now before it runs out, before the price gets really high. Now, these companies take Tesla. They need the silver for the batteries. If they even still make cars, I don't know. But let's say they do, or let's say the defense, they need silver for the Tomahawk missiles. Whatever the price of the silver, they're going to pay because they need the Tomahawk missiles to sell to the Ukrainians or the Germans or the Mexicans or whoever the hell they're selling them to. But without the silver, they can't make the missile. So therefore, they don't care what the price is. They have to price. People think, oh, they're keeping the price down so they can build. No, they have to build it to sell it. Or if they're selling phones, Apple needs silver to make the phone. That's $1,600. So if silver is $100, they're going to pay it because without the silver, they can't sell the phone. And it's not like they don't use an ounce of silver when they make it. They use a couple of grams, which is like 1 gram is 0.003 ounces. So it's very tiny. So that's why I don't believe half of it, this industrial use. Yes, they use it, but it's such a small amount that's not driving anything. It's more us trying to get out the dollars, go into gold. Greg and John, not much, just looking at it. A little worried about Daria. She's got kidney problems. She had high blood pressure and kidney. My guess is she had some alcohol or something sweet, which I understand. And, it's cold. It's Russia. Yeah, they're probably going to drink. So that must have inflamed her kidney. And so she's on antibiotics, which is really not what you want. You don't want to take medicine if you have a kidney problem, you're not getting enough water, first of all, and you want to drink that. Get hydrated. You're dehydrated. Your kidneys are freaking out because they don't have enough water to cleanse you and filter. They filter everything and cleanse you. And I said, are you able to pee? And she said, yeah. And I said, oh, okay, well, then they are working. But, she says they hurt. And well, I understand that. So she, that's the problem listening to a doctor. Well, we'll put you on medicine. Well, what's that going to do? She said they did take an ultrasound and she had something else. I don't know how long it'll take. I just said sleep and drink a lot of water. Because that's from our good doctors, and our lady doctor said the same thing. You're dehydrated, drink a lot of water, don't have coffee, don't have sugar or salt, and stuff like that. But I think the cayenne salt is probably not, or the Celtic salt's probably not bad. Cayenne pepper. So that's what's going on with me. It's still freaking freezing out here. I'm kind of upset I can't take my walk. I want to take my walk around the subdivision. It's probably a mile. I don't know. It's a half hour, and it's good for the morning. And then I swim in the afternoon. And I can't do it because it's like so freaking cold out. I could, but I don't really want to get that cold. It's like zero here, and it's like zero here for like a month. I mean, it's insane. Now I'm looking at this week's football weather, and it looks like we're not going to have that. It looks like a lot. You've got more games in the domes, and then you got more games where it's not as cold, and we'll get into that. Britain's in trouble. They are being protested because this idiot Starmer, who's a George Soros lackey, is letting in these. They want to tax the farmers because their land's worth $3 million, even though they only make 30,000 on it. So it's like us. It's like, let's say we have a Mickey Mantle card, and it's worth, as I think Greg and John said, $50 million for the rookie. Well, let's say we don't. We have my card, the 68 tops, and it's a PSA 10, and it's worth $1 million. Well, that doesn't mean I have the million. I have an asset worth $1 million, but I don't make $1 million a year on it. But they're trying to tax the farmers, so their land's worth $3 million, but they only make 30,000 on the land because they just the crops and the expense of doing the crops is only, they make 30 grand, and they should only pay tax on the 30 grand. So it's like you're taxing me that I have a Mantle card, not the fact, well, I didn't sell it. I have it, but, and so the farmer doesn't want to sell the land, and they don't feel they should pay tax on the land, as I shouldn't pay tax on a Mantle card or on our gold. We shouldn't pay tax on it until we sell it. Then we get money in, and then we can pay tax on it. But just for having it, we shouldn't be paying tax on it. So anyway, so the British are pissed. They're driving their tractors up to Whitehall. Not even James Bond can help them. It's a mess there. All these illegal immigrants coming in from, the Middle East are killing people, and they shouldn't be there because it's not like, let's say me and Greg and John moved to Switzerland, but we adapt to the Switzerland law. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Switzerland, do as the Swiss do. So we would have to sort of follow the Swiss rules and guidelines and things like that. And then we'd blend in. But these Middle East people are not. They're staying, really strange. Real religious, and they don't want to be British, and they don't want to be Americans. They want to be whatever, Iran or whatever. And that's what's causing massive problems in Europe and here. We don't mind people coming here and adapting and being American, but we do, and they don't want to be American. I see it at the pool. I'll see these Middle Eastern dressed in their their whatever, their robes, and they go in the pool. And I'm like, dudes, we're in America. Wear a fucking bathing suit. What is wrong with you? So that's what I get. I just don't understand. People come, then, it's a good country, and then until you ruin it by not adapting to our rules and our cultures and our customs. So that's what's happening in British and Germany and in France. It's all like that, and nobody wants it. And the leaders are run by George Soros, and they're just following George's orders to basically bankrupt these countries. I don't know why Germany, when he's German and he's a Nazi. I don't get that. Anyway, so that's what's going on. All these videos, JP Morgan. Yeah, JP Morgan has to pay the shorts. Any silver coming in is to pay these options out because people are asking for physical because they don't want money anymore. They want physical gold and silver because they know the money's worthless. So all these bullion banks are in big trouble because they have a lot of shorts because they're playing this stupid game because they're a bunch of morons that don't understand BRICS has increased the demand for gold and silver, which is then making the price go up, and you're shorting into higher prices. You out of your freaking minds? So these 8 billion banks are in big trouble, as are the rest of the banks. Just getting paid back on mortgages and car payments, real estate, these commercial real estate, the buildings where people work. All these are going broke because A, people are working from home, and B, with inflation, everything costs more, but the dollar isn't worth more. They're not getting more revenue, they're getting less. There's a big problem. We're in a big recession. So you have to understand that. Anyway, so that's what's going on. And we see 63.50 and 43.24 gold and silver. But again, it fluctuates. And again, it's the 10 o'clock drop. So you can see it jumped up at about 8 o'clock from 42.70 to 43.20. It's this when the U.S. gets it, they're really fucking it up. Let's keep the price down so people don't, stay in the dollar and stay in the stock market. I did notice the stock market the other day, and I looked at that price. We'll get into football in a minute. So I look at the Dow, and it's 48,252. This is the biggest Ponzi scheme I've ever seen. There's no way should be 48. This shouldn't be 40. So when I say it's going to collapse, you're going, yeah, it's 47, it's 48. Yeah, it's going up. It's all bullshit. It's not really going up. It's being manipulated. So don't think your money's in there. The U.S. has a thing that they think everybody's idiots. And when they see the stock market going up, they think, oh, the economy's fine. Well, they just apparently lowered the interest rate 0.25%. I don't even care anymore in December. And all that's going to do is it's not going to do anything. It's the bank that the Fed loans to the other banks. That's it. It doesn't really lower mortgages or cars or anything like that. And nobody's going to buy them anyway because people can't afford it. And at the bottom line is the dollar's still worth nothing. Lowering interest rates does not make the dollar worth more because you printed it to death. So don't forget that. All right, let's look. Now, I did play a college bowl game today. FYI, this is a new week. Tell to take turmeric, it's a natural remedy. Yeah, so celery, so's most of the stuff I take. Well, right now I think she needs water. She's probably dehydrated. She says my kidneys are sore. They're bothering her, and she had high blood pressure, but I think that was getting better yesterday. I haven't heard from her today, so I'm a little bit worried because normally when I wake up, if I don't have a message, I get one by 8 o'clock that, good morning, I'm fine, I'm at work or whatever. So she's probably just sleeping. She says they do have problems with their internet with the war and everything, where Putin will shut the Russian internet off because he doesn't want the Ukraine to spy on them or something. So makes sense. Anyway, I do have, there's one college game today. Troy 46.5 over Jacksonville State. I did play this game. Tomorrow there's Old D in South Florida. South Florida's 3.5, 53.5. Their quarterback's sitting out. Can you believe this shit? The quarterback, Brian Brown, is sitting out to get ready for the NFL draft. Like, this guy's going to get drafted. 3.5, 53.5. And then Lou Lafayette and Delaware. Lou Laf 3.5 and 60. And they're both over teams there. So that's today and tomorrow in the bowl games. They're stretching it out, having a bowl game every day. It's ridiculous. Like, nobody cares. Those antibiotics are bad. Yeah, all the medicine that the doctor gives you. That's why I don't even go to a doctor. They'll give you these pills, and they're not good for you. Now, in moderation, 1 or 2 antibiotics to help her kidneys probably is okay, but not too many more. But she just needs the biggest problem is dehydration. The kidney is a cleaner, and it needs a lot of water to do its function. And if you start drinking caffeine or pop or coffee or alcohol, that probably hurts it. So I don't know what she took. I said, stop drinking alcohol if you're drinking it, which wouldn't surprise me in Russia. That's why a lot of the Russians die early, die young, because they're on vodka, which probably kills their kidneys. Probably the number one reason that they all die so young. Not all of them, but most of the guys are alcoholics. It's cheap. They can't afford a lot, and that's what happens. All right. So that's college. We'll talk college playoff in a little bit. I'm going to go about 11:30, so this will be a quicker class. The Rams at Seattle. The Rams are 1-44. I'll have to update this. I think both teams are A teams, and I'll have to look at the last 5. So I'm going to go into here. So I go into the box. I look at the teams. I scroll down. And then I add up. So I'll add up the Rams 41, 45, 28, 30. And I'll get their off. It looks like they score 30 points a game. And then I'll look at their defense. A couple of 50, 84, and 24, 94, 104, about 110. So they're giving up like 21, 22. And this is important, so I can see they gave up 34 to Detroit. The reason I locked the over last week is because they gave up 31 to Carolina, even though they held Tampa to 7, but then Arizona to 17, and Seattle to 19. 4 interceptions by Darnell. There he goes, choking again. But when I look at their offense, 41 on Detroit's not impressive. They don't have a defense. Neither does Carolina. Tampa kind of does, and then Seattle has a really good defense, and they held them to 21. And that's what we got. And then we look at Seattle, and we go, well, let's see, a 19, a 30, a 26, 37, 18. 37 on Atlanta, not a good defense. 30 on Tennessee, shitty defense. 19 on the Rams, a good defense. 26 on Minnie's impressive, but the quarterback was Brausner, who threw a pick 6. And then 18 on Indy's trouble. Indy doesn't have that kind of defense. But you can see defensively, Tennessee got 24, and then the Rams 21-16. You can see Seattle has a very good defense. So what I do now is I go through every team, and I do last 5, and that's how I rank the team now. Instead of looking at the whole year, I don't care about that. I just want to see how they're doing now, the last 5. I would do the last 6 if it gave me 6, but I'm not going to go into the full slate. The last 5 should help me. Plus, we see them. We know what they are. So we look at the last 5, boom, 30. They say the Rams scored 30, they give up 20. Okay, they're an A team with the 20 defense, and that's what I do. I'll do that a little later today. And and then I have updated my teaser trends. So how are the Rams as a road favorite? Seattle is a home dog. Now the 2 biggest ones that stick out, 3 biggest ones. New England's 13-1 in a teaser. They did cover in a teaser against Buffalo, although I locked it over. Houston and Denver are 14-0 now in a teaser. Jay, everybody picks on Denver, and yet they're 14-0 in a teaser. And it was an easy lock free play that I gave you last week was take Denver as a home dog. They're 13-0 in a teaser. They're not going to lose by a lot. And they were fine. Their secondary still sucks. And when we got lucky, Micah Parsons went out, but still, that was it. And Houston blows out. Who'd they blow out? The Jets, the JETSs, or no? They blew out Arizona, who has half the team injured. But again, they're 14-0, and both those teams are not like the stud team that you would Kansas City 14-0, Buffalo, whatever. But no, Philadelphia, no. Philadelphia is 13 and or 12-2 bet against this year. So we got Thursday night, the Rams 144. Does it bother us? It's Thursday night. Yes. It's not a big travel going from LA to Seattle, so it's okay. The travel's not a big deal. I would assume they would leave Wednesday and get there. It's hard to travel Thursday and then play. You're going to be tired. So we'll get that. But they're both 11-3. It's a must win. It's a playoff game. Normally here I would take the dog, but we'll see. I don't trust Darnold, and I really trust Stafford. Devontae Adams probably out. Pukanuka did bang himself, but came back in the game. Good running, good defense. Seattle, Darnold, choke. So there's a lot of variables that only we know about, not that the analytics can figure out. Philly, Washington. Philly minus 6.5, 44.5. Philly has to win the games to clinch their division. And then so win and they're in. So look for a big game here. Washington with Mariota. Jalen Carter, we'll see if he's coming back, or maybe he comes back in a week or two, because if they win this, they clinch, and then they don't need Jalen Carter in the next few games and save him for the playoffs. And they just won without Jalen Carter last week, beating Oakland. So Oakland's our bitch, and some other teams. Arizona's our bitch, and that. So look for Philly. Green Bay, Chicago. Green Bay's 1.5, 46.5. There's no Micah Parsons. I'm struggling to understand why Green Bay's favored in this game. Chicago's 10-4. Chicago's at home. It says it's going to be like 44 degrees. Injuries. Doesn't even tell you about Micah Parsons being out. Romo Doozy's out, not a problem. Barely an inconvenience. I mean, there's really, there's very few Bears I know anyway. Dwayne Harris is questionable, the wide receiver. I mean, that's why I don't. Romo Doozy's questionable with a foot. Anyway, so I don't see any major injuries. So I'm gonna give you this as the free play. Take the Bears and 7.5. Free play. Yes, I'll definitely be playing it. I like the Bears, and I like them as a home dog. The way they run the ball down your throat, I'm starting to like them a lot more. In Green Bay, they're not a good road favorite, as I stated last week, going to Denver. If Green Bay wins, this will be a close game. Green Bay with Micah Parsons won 28-21. I don't look at them to blow out Chicago without Micah Parsons. And I don't know why Chicago's not a 3-point favorite. I would get this game in tonight before the spread moves. Maybe it stays 1.5. I'm not aware of the Bears having an injury. I just checked, but I would get this in before the Bears. Now, maybe the Bears never go favorite, which I don't know why Green Bay's favorite in the game. So I like the Bears at home as a dog in a must-win game. They take the ball out of Caleb's hands, which we're happy for, and they just run it. Apparently decent defense, and I'm not worried about Green Bay. Lord Jordan Love doesn't scare me at all. So go Green Bay, take the 7.5, must win. They have to win to clinch. They're 10-4. They lost to the Packers the last time 2 weeks ago, and then they're still, the Lions with 6 losses, and they play the Lions. So if they lose this game, they lose to the Lions. I think the Lions get in if they beat win their games, which isn't going to be easy. They got Pittsburgh, who looked pretty good yesterday. So the Bears in a must win at home, plus 7.5. That I'm not worried about. All right, free play. Tampa Bay, Carolina. Well, Greg and John, antibiotics are bad for you for anything. You really don't. They because they destroy all your cells. You're better off just fasting and let your body heal it. I mean, that's what I just get. Stay away from sugar. Stay away from carbs, which are bread. No cereal. No yogurt. Just eat fruit and veggies, and have a steak and a hamburger and chicken, and don't use regular barbecue sauce or ketchup. Use just use my Ken's French dressing, which tastes great. And that's what I use, or Ken's Italian to marinate my meat. And there you go. All right. Tampa Bay 345.5 at Carolina. This is for the division. They're both 7-7. Whoever wins probably wins the division. I can't see Carolina. Now, Carolina, I'm not sold on at all. They did have a good win over the Rams and Philly. I think they lost to Philly. They beat the Rams. They beat somebody else. But then they lost to New Orleans. So they're not a real good team. I think they have problems. We know Steve Young's terrible as a quarterback. I just can't see Tampa in this must-win game at Carolina losing. If they do lose, we got -3 to +3. So we get 3 with Tampa, and we think they'll win anyway. Now that Evans is back, all of a sudden Tampa put up 28. Defensive problems, but Bryce Young is not good enough to take advantage. Total on the game is 45.5. Maybe we figure out the total. Again, this is all problem solving. So what do I got? I know Tampa's a pretty weak defensive team. Carolina, what were they last week? Carolina with the 24 defense and lost 2017 to New Orleans. So this could go over 39.5. Baker with Evans back, they'll score. We'll see. Minnesota and the Giants, a meaningless game. Mini 343.5. Again, that's our third road favorite in a row. No, all 5 of these games have been road favorite. The Rams road favorite. Philly makes sense. Green Bay doesn't. Tampa does. Minnesota, I don't know. Again, it's J.J. McCarthy, 343.5. Neither team need the game. The JETSs go to New Orleans. Can the JETSs beat New Orleans? New Orleans is a 4-point favorite, 40.5. The Jets are on their third quarterback, Brady Cook. He put up 20 points on Houston. I got to watch that game. How the hell did they score 20 on Houston with Brady Cook? And if he's that good, then why were they using Fields and Tyrod Taylor if Brady Cook's this good? Again, a bad coaching decision to even play Fields. You know what you have in Fields. I love when they go, well, let's see what we got. You got crap. You can see it in college. You see it on the other teams, Pittsburgh, Chicago. What do you think you have with Fields? He sucks. And then the coach loses his job because they've won all of 3 games with Fields and then Tyrod Taylor and now Brady Cook. Maybe he is good. Then you're wondering, does the coach have his head up his ass not playing him? So we'll see. It's hard to take New Orleans as a favorite, but the Jets are so bad. This is just a bad game all around. Cincinnati goes to Miami. Cincinnati's favored 1.5, 50.5. This was Miami favored. Acne played yesterday, the running back for Miami from Texas A&M. Little surprise there. Total 50. So do we go over Joe Burrow? Now, Joe Burrow played a terrible game. And I read a Baltimore quote saying it was too cold for them. Well, it's going to be 80 degrees in Miami. It's not going to be too cold for them. Look for Chase and Burrow to have a big game. And then Miami's, they struggled with Pittsburgh yesterday without TJ Watt. I I don't know. I'd have a hard time taking Miami, Cincinnati with the weak defense. Probably an over here. Joe Burrow, look for him to light it up after playing like a pig. Players like Joe Burrow and Mahomes, when they lose, they get pissed off. And some of the players don't care. They're just there for the money, but not those two. Speaking of KC, they're a 3.5-point favorite, 37.5 at Tennessee. And they'll be using Gardner Minshew, not Mahomes. Mahomes already had surgery. Gardner's not bad. He's started a lot of games. I didn't see much change when he went in. He did throw that interception late in the game, which was bad because they could have kicked the field goal to tie, right? It was 16-13. He doesn't throw the pick. They try a long field goal. It's 16-16, and then who knows what happens. So a little disappointment there. Tennessee's terrible. Casey's defense should play. I don't know that KC goes down that much. They're still having problems with Kelsey, and the receivers still stink. And that has nothing to do with Mahomes. San Diego goes to Dallas. Finally, a home favorite. Dallas, 1.5, 49.5. This is the one game I would have thought San Diego should be a 3-point favorite. San Diego needs the game. Dallas is still, I guess, are they out? They can go 14-3. They can go 9-7-1. Yeah, they're still in it if Philadelphia loses all three. But they'll know, well, Philly's at 1 o'clock this game. Oh, this game's at 1. So they're still theoretically in it. San Diego, of course, is in it. Still trying to catch Denver, which they play, I think, next week. So this is a must-win, really, for both teams. Good defense for San Diego, and we saw what Dallas did against a good defensive against Minnesota. It was 34-26. They gave up 34 points to J.J. McCarthy. I think San Diego's a live dog there. Buffalo goes to Cleveland. Buffalo 10-42. Buffalo has to win it if they want to catch New England. Otherwise, what was the whole point of that win last week? Not really cold. We'll go through the weather, but I didn't see any real frozen games next week at this point. It's still cold here, which I'm hoping it finally warms up a little to 30 degrees here so I can go take my walks. Buffalo 10-42 against Prime Jr. Prime Jr. looked good. What did he throw for 40 yards last week against the Bears? I'm sure he loved the cold weather. See, he's not a tough guy. He's not mentally tough, Prime Jr., so he can't handle bad weather. Buffalo, look for them to have a big day against Cleveland. It's 10-42. Buffalo's usually an over team. They score a ton. We'll see. Atlanta and Arizona, both the terrible teams. Atlanta is 2.5, 47.5. Again, a road favorite, a weak work road favorite. Atlanta, Kirk Cousins is playing well, Brissett, but Arizona's quit. They got like 10 guys out from injury. Marvin Harrison, who stinks anyway. Brissett, not bad. Atlanta with a pretty good defense, but nobody needs the game here. Good game of the week. Jacksonville at Denver. We got Denver a home favorite, 345.5. Jacksonville is running. Trevor Lawrence is still not good. So he looks good last week against the Jets, right? He looks like a star, but he ain't going to look like a star against Denver. Denver, this is where you're betting Sean Payton, you're betting Bo Nix, and you're betting their defense, which is motherfuckers. Jacksonville, what does their defense look like? They have an 18 defense, and they won 48-20 over Brady Cook. I don't think this will be high scoring at all. Well, I don't know anymore. Denver Green Bay should have been a low scoring game, but fortunately I was smart enough to take Denver as a home dog and not fuck around with the total. Here, I don't know what I'm going to do. Total of 46. Do I want to go over? Do I want to go under? I'm not sure. Denver or Jacksonville. Now, the fact Denver is 14-0 in a teaser makes me lean a little bit towards Denver. Jacksonville on the road. This is not a place to take Jacksonville against the JETSs, maybe, but I think Denver gets the W. As they always do, they find a way to win. They've clinched the playoff spot. They're 2 games up on San Diego, so a win here, I think, locks it up, and then they don't have to worry about Denver. They play, I think, Denver and Kansas City the next 2 weeks. They don't have to, or they play San Diego and Kansas City the next 2 weeks. They don't have to worry about it. But this is a hard one here, Jacksonville. Oakland goes to Houston. Okay, what do we got? 40-0. Houston's scoring a lot with this crazy defense, 14-38. So we know Oakland's going to get shut out. The question's Houston and Oakland without much defense. That leads you to probably the problem is taking Houston and laying 8, or total of 38 under 44. Those would be the 2. You can never take Oakland in 20, and you got to be out of your mind to take over with Kenny Pickett. But they lost 31-0 to Philly, probably the same score here. And look at Houston; they have to win. So Houston's in a must-win situation. Denver's not. Denver could win, but not in a must-win. Neither is Jacksonville. They're not in a must-win, but Houston's in a must-win, and they're blowing out teams. I would not take Oakland here. Pitt goes to Detroit. Detroit is 7-51. Boy, they love these high totals with the Lions, and why not? They have no defense, good offense. Pittsburgh was playing good yesterday, but it was Tagliavua who stinks. I'll watch that game on tape. But Detroit -7 over Pitt. Pitt needs the game, as does Detroit. Detroit doesn't have the defense. So you probably play this game over. I'd be afraid to take Detroit -1, as Detroit has no offensive line, right? Their center's terrible and their guards are terrible. Even their tackles are both injured, but they're playing. Pittsburgh should take the runaway, but Gibbs might have a big day here. Again, the Lions lost the game. They don't lose 2 in a row, whatever the hell that means. Pittsburgh, you got Aaron Rodgers, who knows how to beat Detroit. God knows he did it a lot with Green Bay. I don't think they can stop Aaron Rodgers and Metcalf. So probably an over here. Detroit doesn't have any pass rush to really bother Rodgers. Hard to say if we take Detroit -1 and trust them. I don't like betting teams with no defense. New England and Baltimore. Baltimore 3-48. New England 11-3 is now a must win. They're playing for the 1 seed versus Denver, and they're playing to stay ahead of Buffalo. So now they're at a game lead. They have to win. Baltimore needs the game to catch Pittsburgh, who's 8-6. They got a game lead, and Pittsburgh beat them. I think they play next week or the week after in Pittsburgh, I think. So Pitt must win, no, but needs it. New England needs it, but not as bad as Baltimore. How does that sound? In other words, Baltimore is fighting to win the division, where New England's pretty much in. They're just fighting to win the division also, but they have the lead. It's the team like Houston who has to win to make the playoffs, to win the division, who you like to bet on. I think New England's a live dog here. God knows Lamar's terrible. Jesus. In our last game, the Niners at Indy, and we've got another road favorite. The Niners 5-5, or 5.5, and 46.5. Phillip Rivers, I don't know. Did he look good? They got a lot of field goals. They didn't score touchdowns. And the Niners, are playing very well. 46-40. Yeah, maybe you go over in the game. We will see. So let's quickly check the weather. It's too early for the injuries. We won't get that for tomorrow. I looked at this morning. We got more dome games, so that's a relief. LA, Seattle with 48 and rain. So we're going to get a rainy night in Seattle, some wind, but 48. So nothing to worry about, like freezing, just the rain. Philly at Washington, 42 degrees and a slight chance of rain. So no cold weather there. Green Bay at Chicago, 30 degrees. But when I went into my read more, I got kickoff 30 degrees, feels like 20. So a 20-degree day in Chicago, a little bit of wind. That's fine. That's playable. It's the 0 or the -10 that isn't playable. And I give Chicago credit. It was -15 with the wind chill, and they beat Cleveland 31-3. I'm sure Prime Junior was freezing. Buffalo at Cleveland, I don't know what to expect. And we get 38 degrees and strong winds in the game, 18-mile-an-hour winds. Buffalo, the thing with Josh Allen, he runs, so wind doesn't matter. Cleveland's given up. I think it's going to hurt Prime Junior a lot more than it's going to hurt Buffalo. But you are getting big wins. We got to keep an eye on that. Rams or the San Diego at Dallas is in a dome. KC, Tennessee, 52 degrees in Tennessee. No cold weather there. The Jets at New Orleans in a dome. Minnesota at the Giants, 44 degrees, partly cloudy. I'm going, where's all this 44 degrees here? Tampa Bay, Carolina, we've got a chance of rain and 59 in Carolina. So really no cold weather there. Cincinnati, Miami, 80 degrees. No worry. Jacksonville, Denver, we got 51 degrees. So no worries there. Atlanta, Arizona in a dome. Pitt, Detroit in a dome. It says 31 here. I'll be happy at 31, but it's in a dome. Oakland at Houston's in a dome. And New England and Baltimore, 39 degrees in Baltimore. So that's good. And this makes no sense. San Francisco at Indy, forecast coming soon. We don't care. It's in a dome. It's in Indy. So not to worry there. So really, the one game I guess we keep an eye on is going to be the Buffalo Cleveland. So 38 with an 18-mile-an-hour wind. So let's see. And the wind comes and goes. It's off the lake. 38 feels like 27, 18-mile-an-hour winds. 18 in the third quarter and 17 in the fourth. So you're going to have a windy day in Cleveland. But I don't know if we're going over with Buffalo. Well, maybe we will. It's 42, 36. Buffalo can probably get that by themselves, but we probably take Buffalo. So that's the NFL for next week. Again, teams that need the game. The Rams in Seattle. Let me highlight this. The Rams in Seattle is basically a playoff game. Philadelphia must win over Washington. Green Bay and Chicago's playoff game. Tampa Bay, Carolina, playoff game. Minnesota, the Giants, meaningless. Jets, New Orleans, meaningless. Cincy, Miami, meaningless. KC, Tennessee, meaningless. San Diego, Dallas, playoff game. Buffalo needs it. Atlanta, Arizona, we don't care. Jacksonville, Tennessee, or Jacksonville, Detroit, Denver. Jacksonville, Denver, they both need it. Oakland, Houston needs it. Pitt and Detroit, they both need it. New England, Baltimore, they both need it. And San Francisco, Indy. I know San Francisco. I think Indy probably needs the game. What are they? Indy's 8-6, so they can go 11-6. So yeah, Indy still has hopes for that. Again, they might be a game or two behind, but they can win out and get 11-6. And if we look at Houston's got 9 wins, and we look at Jacksonville with 10. So they can still catch them. Or for the wild card, Baltimore. Well, no, Baltimore is going to win the division, and that's it. Let's see. Buffalo with 10 wins. San Diego with 10 wins. So Buffalo and San Diego with 10. So theoretically, they can get to 11-6, but it's Monday night. So if we look at this, the Chargers, Dallas, Chargers should probably win, get to 11. Buffalo will beat Cleveland. They'll be at 11. New England's already at 11. Denver's already at 12. Let's go to the standings. Does Indy have a chance? New England with 11 and Buffalo with 10. Buffalo will beat Cleveland. They'll get to 11. Pitt and Baltimore is really to win the North.